we're so thrilled to be at Berkeley and to be at a place that for decades has stood at the intersection of social awareness and social activism and education. When we hold CGIU, we look for partner institutions that really share our deep belief that kind of being engaged citizens is hopefully part of the educational experience. And it's hard to think of a school that has been more deeply grooved into and helped kind of make that case than Berkeley. And I'm really grateful that the Berkeley community more broadly, and again as a Stanford student, I never thought I would kind of be so grateful and so publicly grateful to Berkeley for so much, but really so grateful to all the students who welcomed the CGIU community from around the world, to the 125 Berkeley students who are part of the CGIU community, to the staff, to the administration. I hope that the school and the students and the team across the campus feel as good about this experience as we certainly do.
Huge news. The Clinton Foundation ordered to stop all operations, and Chelsea Clinton charged with fraud? This is breaking news by Conservative Army. Bill and Hillary's charitable organization, the Clinton Foundation, has been given an A+ rating for the charity work that it does. This charitable organization, A+ rating, makes it slightly more reputable than the Red Cross. It has been ordered to stop operations, to cease all operations. The CEO is Chelsea Clinton, the daughter of Bill and Hillary Clinton. She's been charged with fraud and a warrant issued for her arrest, this article states, following the news, which was first reported on InfoWars and then passed to other reputable news sources like, for example, Fox News, Hannity, and Rush Limbaugh. The Clintons were nowhere to be found for an interview concerning all this. The reason for the shutdown is the alleged pay-for-play donations that saw rich and powerful rebels, foreign countries gain access to Washington, D.C. in exchange for cash. During Clinton's time as Secretary of State, it's been rumored that the various masterminds along events detrimental to the United States were all invited to the White House residence for ice cream sundaes in an evening of scattergories. Documents linking the Clinton Foundation directly to General George Hammond of SG Command were the final piece of the puzzle having to do with all this. Chelsea Clinton used her family's foundation cash also to pay for her wedding, let alone her husband's failed investment schemes, also their living expenses and taxes on gifts of cash from her parents, according to a bombshell email made public on Sunday. Doug Band, formerly top aide to President Bill Clinton, griped about the former first daughter's spending January 4th, 2012, in an email released by WikiLeaks. Quote, "The investigation into her getting paid for campaigning, using foundation resources for her wedding and life for a decade, taxes on money from her parents," end quote, Band wrote to John Podesta, now Hillary Clinton's campaign manager. Quote, "I hope that you will speak to her and end this once we go down this road," end quote. Band's message is contained in a chain of emails that were hacked from Podesta's Gmail account. WikiLeaks has released more than 50,000 of those stolen emails over the past, at that time, 32 days. Earlier in the correspondence with Podesta, Band said he had, quote, "just received a call from a close friend," end quote, of Bill Clinton's. This is by the New York Post. You can refer to that, and it's on USA Politics Today.
Welcome to the Trump Breaking News Network, your daily source for up-to-the-minute Trump news. Join us today and every day. Here's today's news.
This is TBNN.
Juanita Broaddrick responds to Chelsea Clinton's Twitter Trump attack. A friendly note to Chelsea Clinton: when referring to something as horrifying, sick or awful, it helps if you have a father who isn't an accused rapist. The former first daughter found that out the hard way on Twitter when she tried to register her disgust at the possible deportation of an illegal immigrant and ended up drawing the unwanted attention of Juanita Broaddrick, the woman who has long maintained Chelsea's father raped her when he was Attorney General of Arkansas. Chelsea was responding to a story in the El Paso Times detailing the Immigration and Customs Enforcement detention of an illegal immigrant who had been detained after seeking a protective order in a domestic abuse case. In her tweet, Clinton tried unsubtly to refer to the Trump administration. Here was Chelsea's tweet from last Wednesday. I need a thesaurus. What's another word for horrifying? Sick? Awful? Running out of adjectives these days that mean unconscionably terrible. T.co web link. Chelsea Clinton, at Chelsea Clinton, February 16, 2017. Unmentioned in Chelsea's remark was that the transgender woman in question, who had already been deported 7 times before this, had a history of committing domestic violence, among a panoply of other offenses: illegal re-entry, larceny, assault, false imprisonment, no less than 3 times, and probation violations were among the laundry list of crimes listed by KVIA-TV. While one can certainly question whether detaining an individual who is seeking a protective order, even a felon, creates perverse incentives, there's no question that the sick, awful and horrifying things this individual had done meant she certainly should not have been in this country. Also sick, awful and horrifying? Rape. Well, since you asked, here's my definition of horrifying, sick and awful. Answer: your father, Bill Clinton. Pic.twitter.com web link. Juanita Broaddrick, at Tensnut, February 17, 2017. Whoops. Broaddrick, for those of you who don't remember, is a former nursing home administrator who publicly accused then-President Bill Clinton in 1998 of raping her back in 1978. When he was actually in charge of criminal prosecutions in the Razorback state. The Clinton machine has long ignored Broaddrick and her allegations, even though she's maintained her story for almost 20 years. It's worth pointing out that as a brave social media defender of sexual and/or domestic violence, provided, of course, there's some sort of tenuous link to the man who beat her mother at the ballot box in November, Chelsea Clinton seems strangely silent when it comes to getting justice for Juanita Broaddrick. Or Kathleen Willey. Or Paula Jones. Or any of the women who have not only said but continue to maintain that they were the victims of sexual abuse at the hands of her father. If Clinton Phil is willing to address this multitude of accusations, I'm perfectly willing to consider her opinions on any sick, horrifying or awful thing she wishes to discourse on. Sans that, I would advise that she may just want to sit the next few years out. Please like and share on Facebook and Twitter with your thoughts on what Chelsea Clinton had to say. What do you think about Juanita Broaddrick's response? Scroll down to comment below.
That's the news. Join us here every day. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell. See you next time.
This is TBNN.
Created using Powtoon.
We have some pretty amazing honorees this afternoon. Jessica Chastain, Gayle King, Blake Lively, yep, Sherry Redstone, and Chelsea Clinton. And they all have one thing in common. None of their moms are president.
Vanessa, we may be able to say in this room today that no one's mother is currently president, but someday someone's will be. Thank you very much.
To 2 Trump rallies because I need to look the snake in the eye, and I went And I watched and I listened. I waited in line outside for 5 hours. I listened to all the hate that went towards your mom, to our president. And then I went inside and I heard a whole new show with drinking, with so much garbage. It was just insane. It was like I went under the sewer to go to his rallies. So my question to you is, how do you deal with the stress when you have this male chauvinist, pig, narcissist talking about your mom, or even at those debates? I just want to know how you handle that stress. Is it something that, you know, your family sat down with you long ago and told you this is how it's going to be? Or I just wanted to know from you how you handle it all. Thanks.
Thank you. So I'm really grateful to my mom. For so many things. I'm particularly grateful at this moment in my life for, in the best sense, setting such a high bar of being a working mom. And that I was always so proud of her work, and yet I never doubted that she was first and foremost my mom. And I'm also really grateful to her for advice that she gave me a long time ago, and that she gave me throughout my life. It's really important to take serious criticism from serious people seriously. So when I was younger, from my teachers, or from my brownie troop leader, or from my coaches, from my parents, my grandparents, my friends' parents. She also told me, though, it was really important to take unserious criticism from unserious people unseriously. And I think about that a lot. So, I think she's a living example of that. So.
Them, and what can I do to help your mom? I want her to win.
So thank you for talking to people. Her question before she got the microphone. Was what do you say to people who are undecided or who are Trump supporters? I think voting's very personal, and I think we all care about something. Probably we all care about a lot of some things, but what we care about may be different. So I think you first have to understand by asking and then listening to what someone. Says they care about. So does someone care about investing in the public school system and once again ensuring that teachers are treated with the respect they deserve? Does someone care about having a president who recognizes that climate change is not only not a hoax, but a real threat and also a real opportunity? Does someone care about criminal justice reform and gun violence prevention and understand why those have to go together? Does someone care about by this caricature that existed of my mom in the kind of public imagination because it had no bearing on the person that he had worked with? I feel that way as my mom's daughter. And yet I've watched, kind of to the earlier question, my whole life, kind of people
attack her because they don't agree with what she's fighting for, what she's doing. I remember even 1986 when my dad was running for governor of